Welcome. I am Maggie Velasquez. I am the Dyslexia and Literacy Intervention Specialist for the Arizona Department of Education. Today we will review the Universal Literacy and Dyslexia Screener Guide. This can be found on the Arizona Department of Education Dyslexia page and the Move On When Reading page. Part of the recent legislation requires guidance to support the implementation and use of universal literacy and dyslexia screeners. The guide was created and published with support from various groups, including Arizona Department of Education's Unique Populations and Exceptional Student Services teams, and is located alongside the approved tools. Today we will work through the document so you can understand it better and locate information as needed throughout the year. As you can see from the table of contents, it covers the key points as intended by the law to make certain it meets the needs of teachers, families, and especially students. Section 1 reviews what a universal literacy and dyslexia screener is, when to administer it, and how it identifies students who need literacy interventions and the importance on early intervention for struggling readers. This table is found in the first section. It shows each component for the Universal Literacy and Dyslexia Screener and the definition, and when it is measured for each grade level at a minimum. But some components may be addressed at additional grade levels. For example, nonsense word fluency must be addressed at kindergarten and first grade, but it can be administered at second and third grade as well. This is the approved list of the Universal Literacy and Dyslexia Screeners. There are short videos about each of the products to learn more about them. In February of 2021, the ELA team republished the list to include recent submissions. The list grew to 8 approved tools. It will continue to be added to each year as vendors continue to submit. The current legislation has been extended for school districts to have one more year, if needed, before implementing the Universal Literacy and Dyslexia Screener. If your screener is on the list, reach out to the vendor for updates and protocols and new trainings, and then you will be set and ready for the 2022-2023 school year. If your screener is not on the list, reach out to the current vendor to see if or how they plan to address the requirements of the law. Based on the feedback, use the 2021-2022 school year to consider all possible plans to ensure compliance for fall of 2022. This includes researching new products, selecting and training staff on the use of the new screener. Then you will be ready with a new approved screener in the 2022-2023 school year. Also, please remember the dyslexia legislation has been added to the current Move On When Reading laws. There is a grace period for the dyslexia laws. The Move On When Reading laws are still required. Section 2 explains multi-tiered system of supports, or MTSS, which addresses the need of the whole child. In Arizona, MTSS is defined as a coherent continuum of system-wide data-based problem-solving practices supporting a rapid response to the academic and behavioral needs for all students. This structure may be previously known as RTI, or Response to Intervention. Most importantly for classroom teachers is the requirement that students who are struggling are provided with immediate intervention instruction to address the students' difficulties in the general education classroom. This chart explains how the MTSS and assessment data are used. First, in the very top portion, all kindergarten through third grade parents or guardians receive parent letter number 1. This is at the beginning of the school year. All kindergarten through third grade students also receive 90 minutes or more, or 450 minutes or more per week of high-quality instruction from an ESSA evidence-based core reading program, or Tier 1, in whole group and differentiated small group. Also, all kindergarten through third grade students are given an approved universal literacy and dyslexia screener 3 times a year, in the fall, winter, and spring. This determines which students appear to be performing at the set grade level benchmark goals. This assessment is given within the first 45 days of school or upon enrollment for new students, and again in the winter and spring. Students who have met the benchmark goals will receive differentiated instruction in small flexible groups, and progress monitoring is done monthly or a minimum of 3 times a year. Within 2 weeks of the universal screener, students not on target will be administered further diagnostic assessments to determine specific skill deficits. This diagnostic data also allows teachers to provide skill-based intervention to small flexible groups. At this time, parents are notified of the skill deficits and intervention plan in place with parent letter number 2. Using the diagnostic assessment, students are placed into flexible groups in either Tier 2, which is strategic level support, or Tier 3, which is intensive level support. Section 3 reviews the parent letter notification requirements and when to send them. These are letter templates you may use to send with tips to help at home. These letters have all the necessary components of the law and are not to be replaced by any additional letters provided by the screener vendors. The first letter is mandatory and goes home to all kindergarten through third grade parents and guardians at the start of the school year or upon enrollment of school. The intention is for the first letter to provide all kindergarten through third grade guardians of the Move On When Reading and Dyslexia laws, as well as the MTSS process pertaining to literacy screenings, diagnostic, and progress monitoring. Parent letter number 2 is sent following the approved universal literacy and dyslexia screener and diagnostic assessment at any fall, winter, or spring benchmark period. The second parent notification and parental strategies resource goes home to all kindergarten through third grade students flagged below benchmark and receiving intervention. The Arizona Department of Education provides parental strategies to be sent home to all kindergarten through third grade students screened below benchmark in the fall, winter, and spring, along with the second parent notification. These strategies are sectioned into specific skill sets that match the area of need in parent letter number 2. When selecting the strategies to be sent home with parent letter number 2, you want to choose what to send based on the identified student's greatest need or needs. The entire list of strategies would not be sent home, but rather the strategies that pertain to the greatest area of need for the student. Section 4 is frequently asked questions. If you cannot find the information you are looking for, please refer to this section, and hopefully you will find it. Hopefully you have gleaned some information about the approved Universal Literacy and Dyslexia Screeners, MTSS, and the required parent notification. Be sure to check the Arizona Department of Education's dyslexia page for guidance, and please reach out to me at any time or my director, Dr. Amy Boza, Director of ELA and Move On When Reading.